Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to the Temple of Speed. Monza, it is the Italian Grand Prix here in Formula Sprint 2, and what a spectacular Grand Prix it is set to be, as the battle at the top of the standings is as close as ever as we head into the final 5 rounds of the season after the couple of weeks summer break. Jack Mayer and Ruben Machedi are separated by 2 points heading into this round, and I'm sure both of them, as we head to the checkered flag in qualifying, would quite like to leave here on top of the standings. I'm Tom Dillon, and as per usual, Menno Klont is joining me in the commentary box, and we've had a few technical issues, so we join you at the end of qualifying. But Menno, I think the points we were making before still stand, that this is going to be a pretty interesting race after the end of the summer break.
Yeah, like you said, it's the Temple of Speed. So we had just had the summer break, so everybody could recharge a bit. And this track is so much different than all the other tracks with the low downforce spec you need to use for this track. So I think a lot of ingredients to start the after the summer break great, and 5 rounds to go, so we're getting in the more closing stages of this championship. So really looking forward to it, and I expect great races, and looks like we've got a full field of 32 cars, so maximum drivers now on the grid, so I'm proud to see that as well. So we will see I guess 2 beautiful races, maybe with a lot of slipstream. So looking forward.
And should be an entertaining race indeed. The news throughout the grid is that Jack Nicholls has stepped out of the King's Racing car for this round anyway, and they've got Scott Mitchell-Marm in to the King's Racing number 89. So that will be interesting to see how he goes. Here are the qualifying results.
Yeah, you had Scott Mitchell, who always was there this season, and he now gets Toby Davis to replace Jack Nicholls for this round. Toby Davis has got a lot of experience in sim racing, so it's not a coincidence they went for him, and
he was in the box last week as well, of course, or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's very true. So and now if I'm not mistaken, we will see the results of qualifying. So it's the homeboy Massimiliano Riboli who gets pole. Then it's Alex Lehoux, and then Scott Mitchell-Marm in P3, Toby Davis in P4, Luke Mitchell in P5, and Luke Mitchell wants to strike back after a difficult Spa. Silvio Lexo P6, Dan Haag P7, Jack Mayer P8. Loic Meunier in P9, and P10 is there for Kenneth Singleton. Then we go from P11 to P20. And then we will have, Justin Ruan in P11, Seva Panichenko P12, Mikael Tomala P13, Maciej Sandak P14, and Lapins returning after a year out P15, Tommy Koivunen P16, and Sotirios Kontoguris in P17. Then we've got Craig Patterson P18, Josh Down P19, and Gijs Sonneveld in P20. And then we go from 21 to 30. Then we've got John Dix in P21, Dominic Slaban in P22, Maxime Boulou in P23, Luca Gray P24, Alistair Pollock in P25, Scott Mars in P26, Lilian Hilliard in P27, Caitlin Penny in P28, P29 for Dan Hutt, and Mihailo Vincicevic in P30. And then we've got 2 drivers left. We've got Tom Ely in P31, and then Aurélien Brisson in P32. So that's our whole grid. So we shall see what everybody can do, but I think it was quite close. I believe the first 17 within a second from pole, so that's I think quite a decent thing to see. But now we will have 2 13-lap races. What do you expect, Tom, after these races?
Well, I don't suspect anyone's going to be able to build a lead here, Menno, given the nature of the circuit. It's of course going to be essentially a big DRS train all the way throughout the field. You see, it might be 11 turns, but it's got so many straights here that even the curved bits are mostly straights. It's really one of those circuits where if you can, even if you're say 5 to 7 tenths slower than someone, you can easily make that up just by being in their slipstream with the DRS.
Yeah, that's very true, of course, but I'm not sure how good the DRS actually will be working, because they already have got the lower wings, so maybe the usage of DRS is maybe a little bit less, but I think it will still help a little bit, maybe a bit more, but we shall see that. I'm actually also wondered what will happen in race 2, because this track is actually having a great opportunity. If you start, let's say, in the top 3, top 4 with reverse grid, there is, I think, a realistic chance you can stay away maybe from the guys that are chasing you, because overtaking is possible here, but going through the field might be a bit difficult, I think, at this track, because you all drive so fast, so getting time back on another driver is possible, but you still need to make the overtakes like every other track. So I can see maybe a surprise winner in race 2. We shall see. But let's first see how race 1 will go. Let's see how we've got until the race is starting. I think
7 minutes.
7 minutes. I'm not sure if we do the whole warm-up, but maybe we will do.
I suspect we might let it run down the clock. We normally do. Here's an example actually of that. That slipstream and the DRS between these two cars right now. I can't quite tell who it is based on this, but you can see that not being the easiest place to pass, purely because if you're the 8th car in a DRS train of 10, then everyone's got DRS ahead of you. You're not gaining too much, so it can be difficult. Lehu getting past though with a mistake.
Lehu is passing his countryman Loic Meunier, so it will be very interesting to see what they both can do. I think you can see what they both are practicing. So I think practice make perfect. So they're working hard on it.
Important to perhaps get into a rhythm, and for these two as well, you'd say maybe a little bit more important, given the battling that they're doing. It's going to give them a better idea. It's not really often you get the chance to practice this, perhaps with your own teammate during the week, but I suspect this far into the season, some people just preferring to do their laps and get on with it on the night. But it should be an interesting race, that's for certain. I think down into turn 1 is going to be an absolute melee, and given what we saw at Spa, albeit Spa was on one of those days where it was particularly hot in the UK and in Europe as well, so a lot of people's PCs playing up because of that, and we saw it cause actually quite a significant accident, didn't we? Oh, yeah, that's a significant accident as well.
And that was just a bit going over the risk that they take. So yeah, but it's all practice. But yeah, like you said, it's warm in whole of Europe and outside of Europe. So hopefully all PCs will hold.
Well, it's much cooler now as well, of course, so no major issues there. His championship leader, Jack Mayer, battling with one of the... I thought for a moment that was an Alfa Sierra car, but it's becoming obvious soon enough that I don't actually think it is. It's a different car. I'll refer to my spotter guide that I've closed down, so I'll let Menno fill us in.
Yeah, so, yeah. But we will come, I think, up to that. We now still have got 5 minutes in the practice, and I think we will still see the last things they want to test. Maybe a few laps on higher fuel, maybe a practice start. I think we actually will see a practice start. No, not yet. So they keep pushing for now, and then they will go for a practice starts, I think, next lap. So yeah.
I always found when I drove in Academy in 2020, I did a few rounds then, haven't been back since. Academy career didn't go particularly well, but I always found that these cars, I know they've changed a bit over the years, but they're fundamentally similar in theory. I always found getting a race start was actually fairly easy. You don't get too much wheel spin. It's you put the power down. I don't know what it's like now with 2 years of developing the mod and the cars being slightly different, of course. But back then, at least, it wasn't the most difficult car to get started. It's more about how you can actually react off of the grid, in my experience, making sure that you get the lights correct, and of course, making sure you don't go too overboard on the power. But they haven't. I think the crucial thing there is that they don't have a great deal of power going into the rear wheels. I suppose in Academy, though, as well, people are running the low traction control setting. I'm not too sure what the assists are here, whether low traction control is allowed, but at least in Academy, I suppose you have that to help.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah. Well, I have a small issue, so I need to fix that. So I will be back in I think in a minute. So all up to you now, Top.
Menno departs for a moment to fix an issue. We've been having our own issues this evening. We did an intro and everything, probably the best intro of the season on my half, and unfortunately, it turns out we weren't streaming at that stage, but issues with YouTube being funny after the summer break. And I think that's another thing I wanted to mention as we head into the round here, is that Massimiliano Riboli, by the way, in the Alfa Sierra car, has slightly changed their livery. It looks very VMS Sun Edits like, probably for the Italian Grand Prix, changing into those Italian colours. You can see a better shot there, Italian themed, and looks very nice indeed. But here's the traffic that everyone trying to get a stab at this over the course of the session. And yes, back to my point that I've sort of let roll off of my head. I think the toe is going to be so important anyway, and after the summer break as well, which is the point I was going for, as Riboli goes for a huge dive, hoping that he doesn't do that in the race in that Italian liveried car. But I think the big thing is going to be trying to get back into it after the summer break. You have a couple of weeks without doing without racing these cars, and some of the drivers have been doing things like VEC and stuff like that over the course of the summer break. So getting back into it, getting back used to this Formula 3 style car, which is supposed to be fairly accessible, which is quite useful, as we see Sandak is going to go for a practice start, which I think is a little bit brave to do. Oh no, he's not gone for a practice start, he's blown his engine. So Kuvian certainly going for practice start towards the end of this session, but I think getting back into it after the summer break is going to be paramount for these guys, and getting back into it quickly. You can't afford to really take a couple of moments to get yourself into the zone with the car. You've really got to hit the ground running quite easily, and it is no mean feat once you've been driving, say, sports cars over the summer break. It's not easy to switch between cars. Perhaps for some of these drivers, it's Loic Moigno, a man I know switches between GT3 and all forms of racing very regularly indeed. I at least find it fairly difficult to get through and change cars at regular intervals. We've got 30 seconds left of this session, so we should be starting about 5 past the hour, I would suspect. An instant at the chicane there. And, well, Monza are always going to deliver. It's not the longest lap either, so the 13 should fly by. As Menno is back, and as we close out the warm-up session, Menno, I just wanted to ask for your predictions for the race, Victor.
Oh, that's very interesting. I think this is I think for Riboli, for Massimiliano Riboli to win in Monza. So I believe in an Italian win at home for Riboli. So I give him a good chance. This is a track which I think suits him. He did show a lot of growth this year in as himself as a racer. So I believe he can win, and let's see what the rest will do.
Absolutely, I would like to see Massimiliano Riboli do it at his home circuit, and it would be very nice indeed as an Italian in Italy winning, even if it is the virtual Italy. but a huge opportunity for him as well to pick up his first win since Monaco, where he got a double podium in Monaco. As a matter of fact, I wasn't here for that round, unfortunately. But for Ribbley, it should be a huge chance. And if he can just get to the head of that, or stay in the head of that DRS train and try and prevent anyone behind him making two great grounds, he should be in with a really good chance here, Ribbley. But it's not going to be easy for him at all.
No, it will not be easy, and then I think a lot of drivers will be hunting down on the Italian. Yeah, let's see what will happen, and I think it will be exciting from P1 to P10, but also, yeah, I think from every position it will be very interesting. But let's hope everybody stays in one piece for as long as possible. But yeah, 32 cars. One track, everybody wants to go quite fast, so yeah, I think always we will see a bit of drama, but let's hope it will not be too bad for now. Well, we've got 10 seconds to go for everybody to line up, so we're waiting for everybody to be on there now, and I believe everybody is on the grid now. Yeah, all 32 cars are on the grid. And let's take you through the starting grid, and then we calculated grid penalties in it. So it's Massimiliano Riboli from pole position with Alex Lehoux in P2, Scott Mitchell-Malm in P3, and Toby Davis in P4. Then from P5 to P8 is Steven Lexo, Dan Hayek, Jack Mayer, and Loic Meunier. Then we have got Kenneth Singleton in P9, Justin Ruan in P10, Seva Panasenko in P11, and Mikael Tomala in P12. P13 is there for Maciej Sandak, Ernst Lapins is in P14, Tommy Koivunen in P15, and Sotiris Kontouguris in P16. Then in P17 we've got Craig Patterson, Josh Downer is in P18, Gijs Zonneveld is P19, and Jorn Dix is in P20. P21 is for Dominic Slabon, and then Maxime Blulu is in P22, Luca Gray in P23, and Alistair Pollock in P24. P25 is there for Luke Mitchell with Scott Morris in P26, Lilian Hilliard in P27, and Caitlin Penny in P28. And then the last four, we've got Dan Hunt in P29, Mihailo Vincentevic in P30, P31 for Aurélien Grisson, and Tom Ely starts in P32. So a full house here at the Temple of Speed. Tom, prediction? What will we see? Will we see the King's Racing cars going to the field, the red fans, or will it more or less stay the same?
I'm going to back Massimiliano Ribbley to win this one. And one final question for you, Menno. Who do you think is going to come out of this round at the top of the championship?
Oh, that's very interesting. I think the safest bet would be saying it's Jack Mayer. So I will go for Jack Mayer. But yeah, it's sim racing. So yeah, we shall see. We shall see. And Jack Mayer will now start from P7. So yeah, not too bad, but also not a huge point position. So he needs to fight his way up to the grid. So yeah, we shall see where he ends up. As they come to the grid,
looks like as well that the red Ven cars haven't got Ruven Machete with them today. It's going to be Ernest Lapins instead, so that'll be interesting. But at the back of the field, they get to their own grid slots, and we'll wait for the lights here. It is Massimiliano Ribbley on pole. Can the Italian win in Monza? That is the pressing question. Yeah. We'll find out in 13 laps time as we go to the lights here in Monza. 5 red lights and his lights out, and away we go.
Toby Davis, very good start from Toby Davis, and he already charges from P3, and I think it will be P2 if he breaks a little bit later. Oh, he will go for the dive. Oh, dive, yeah. Oh, Toby took a lot of risk.
There is a Menno turn 1, Menno. As championship leader is into the gravel, heading out of turn 1. at Monza. Everyone else a little bit tentative through that corner, but other than that, it seems like they're okay. And now through the Curva Grande, 3 wide, heading through there, and it looks like everyone is just about making it through. There's going to be another dive from one of the King's Racing cars, and it looks like he's got through on Alex Lahoe into the second chicane. Lahoe is sparking as he goes onto the curb. Ribbley leads, and Ribbley's got himself a nice lead indeed. 0.8 of a second. It looks like further back in the field, Jack Mayer just well, he's well through the grid. Though it's saying he's in 5th position, so maybe Jack Mayer wasn't the one that went into the gravel. I'm not too sure how he's into 5th position. No. But here's Scott Mitchell. He's trying to get through himself, and in fact, he's being overtaken by the championship leader, who clearly not in the gravel. He's got one of the Red Van cars for company as well as Stephen Lexo.
Bad exit for Stephen Lexo, and he loses another position because he's all out of shape. And there comes Rustin Ruan, and he had an amazing start already, and he's now charging for P7 or P6. So Justin had a great start, and Mika Tomala as well. So who's the biggest loser? Well, I'm currently looking into that.
Here comes Josh Downard. In fact, here comes Alex Lahoe trying to get around one of the King's Racing cars. It's Scott Mitchell who's got his own championship aspirations. And can Alex Lahoe get around the outside? Alex Lahoe can. And there's Stephen Lexo trying to go through on one of the Valence cars as well. And there's contact further back in the field. It's Ernest Lappins on his return to GPVWC. And he's through into 10th position. And he needs a pretty good points for the team this evening. Red Ven on a pretty purple patch worth of form. Now down the inside goes Alex Lahoe once more. In fact, that's Scott Mitchell going around the outside of him, and they make contact.
Oh, look at Mayer! Look at Mayer!
And now Jack Mayer is trying to get involved. He goes through into the Lesmo on Alex Lahoe, and now Alex Lahoe trying for the switchback into Lesmo 2. Can he quite get the overspeed? He can't, but he is into 5th position, or he has to settle for 5th position. A mistake from Jack Mayer, and now Alex Lahoe trying to go around the outside into Ascari. This would be a brave move, but he'll have the inside for the second part of the corner. Can he just get the braking performance in that car? And someone's trying to follow him through as well, and they make a little bit of contact, and he's onto the skate road there. Alex Lahoe still around the outside. And hold it off.
And a near crash for Alex Lahoe, but look at Stephen Lexo and Justin Ruin. It's rush hour now, and it's like everybody is around the same space of tarmac, but at least at the front, after 2 laps completed, we've got Massimiliano Riboli leading, but Toby Davis keeps him honest. We've got Michel Malm now in P3, but yeah, then it starts with Jack Mayer, and I believe next lap, so not this lap, next lap DRS will open, so this is the final lap without DRS. And Jack Mayer looks
melee to turn 1. Oh no, look at Ernest Lappins going for a huge move, and he's made contact with the Valence car. And I think they've just about got around okay in the end, but Ernest Lappins went for a borderline suicidal dive bomb there, Menno.
Yes, that's how we know him, and he is at least a bit more aggressive than some of the others. But keep it nice and steady, Ernest, because you have got talent. And he is pushing really hard on Loic Meunier. And now he gets out of shape because he wants to go through the same corner as Loic Meunier. At the same time, and that is not working. And now we've got Mika Tomala. Yeah, Tomala knows how to do this. Oh, and there is a hit from Ruyan and Monnier. Oh, this is so crazy. And Seva Panichenko is involved, and there we get Kenneth Singleton around the outside, and we're still all driving. Well, I actually saw a yellow flag, but no terminal damage. Oh, they're pushing really hard. But if we go to the lead, I think we'll have a lead change soon.
This is round.
Oh, and we've got a crash.
And we know there are fireworks when Ernest Lappins races in this championship, or in any championship for that matter. And Ernest Lappins has caused some fireworks here in Formula Sprint 2 at Monza. He goes down into 16th position, but here is a move for the lead of the race, and it's going to be Toby Davis subbing in for the busy Jack Nicholls, and here he goes down into turn 1. This should be a fairly regulation overtake for the lead of the race, and Massimiliano Rivellini spoilt the Italian party on lap 4 of this race with DRS. Alex Laho trying to get involved as well. He can't get past Steven Lexo. Loic Mounier, look, down in 9th position, 3 wide with Craig Patterson. And he is going to get through, and I think that's Tua Marlow, and it's Kuvian, I apologise, who's now passed by Sandak, but Patterson into 11th. Here is Ernest once again, and there's someone onto the grass, and I don't know what's happening here, Menno.
Yeah, a lot of it is happening, but the gaps actually are getting a bit bigger. So we now see Lilian Hilliare in P17 actually battling with Ernst Lapinzia, and that car already sustained quite a bit of damage, and it is only lap 4. So Ernst, you are so quick, but you damage your car way too early, and this will, I think, hurt you the whole rest of the race. So yeah, he is lightning quick, Ernst, but yeah, he comes with a sort of certain risk, but yeah, he can still get a very decent position. So let's see what will happen there. Well, I believe we've got a few overtakes coming. Yeah, it's Mathieu Sandak passing Craig Pedersen for P11, but Mathieu Sandak runs a bit wide. We've got a great battle here, because Tommy Koivunen is also in that. Sotiris Kontigouris is in there, and Seva Panichenko is more or less in there as well. Yeah, Ernest Lapins is actually quite a bit down on that group, so I think it's at least 1.5 to 2 seconds.
Here's the lead again, Menno, and it's Massimiliano Riboli trying to get back into first position on Davies, and the Italians' party hasn't quite been spoiled yet as Riboli is through into first position. Here's Lexo trying to get around Jack Mayer and Le Ho as it's 3 wide further back, and it's 3 wide between Sandak, Kuvian, and I think that is Cognatorus, and it's going to be Kuvian who gets the better of it as he's not. Oh no, as he's into the gravel, and someone has spun around there and got airborne, and I think that was Kuvian.
Yeah, but it was Kuvian, and then I think Craig Pedersen who got tangled up, but I think Craig Pedersen didn't lose a lot, and yeah, the one that lost a lot is Tommy Kuivunen, but yeah, still only a few seconds below the point scoring position, so loads possible, while Caitlin Penny goes wide.
So here we go, here's the replay of that Craig Patterson. There was just a tap, I think, from the downforce car on the inside, and he's just sent them both round, unfortunately. Just one of those things where 3 into 1 doesn't quite go. Here's Mayer trying to get past Turo Marlow. He knows his championship lead is going to extend today on Reuven Machete. If he can just get a good haul of points, I don't think he'll be on course for the race victory here today, but he can certainly give it a go.
Yeah. Well, we've got a problem for Jack Mayer, because Jack Mayer was in P4 and now he dropped, I think, a few seconds down. Well, we've got, I think, a yellow flag somewhere. I will look if I can find something. I believe it was just a car going off. Well, we've got Luca Gray in P25 without a front wing.
But old Davies and Riboli make a little bit of contact down into turn 1. Riboli holds on to that first position, but Davies is going to have a go through Curva Grande down into the second chicane here at Monza. Can he get the overspeed in the slipstream, Toby Davies? He's sent to the outside by Massimiliano Riboli. It's like Hamilton and Leclerc in 2019. Will it end the same way? Davies around the outside. Can he get past Massimiliano Riboli? And the question is, yes, he absolutely can. He had to do it in a little bit of an unorthodox fashion, but on lap 6 of 13, it looks like Massimiliano Riboli has just lost that lead for yet another lap, and it must be getting frustrating, this jockeying between the two of them. And it looks like this time, with a slightly unorthodox pace to overtake, it's lost Massi a fair bit of time, and now he's 7/10 of a second behind. Is that enough for Davies to hold on to the lead of this race?
Yeah, that's of course the question, and at least we now see Scott Mitchell-Malm now actually is in this group as well, so it's a 3-way battle for the lead, and it would be very good for Scott Mitchell if he can get decent points out of it. So he is in DRS zone now, so he can follow the top 2 guys, I think, quite well on pace. And if Massimiliano Riboli goes for the lead again this lap,
and of course Taurus into the wall, and oh no, he's lost his front wing as well. And that's going to be him out of the points as someone follows him into the mistake.
Gijs Sonneveld went, I think, through the gravel.
Here's the replay, and I think it might have something to do with Ernest Lappins, actually, and there was a tap on the first opportunity, and then, he's driven him off the road there, Ernest.
Yeah, but then the rejoin was, of course, also...
Yes.
Yeah.
And heaps of talent, we can all agree, Ernest Lappins, but certainly not his finest moment, as Toby Davies, quite colossally, is through into the lead, and by 1.16 seconds, as here goes Scott Mitchell down the inside, has to back out of that move. They're making contact, and Mitchell almost loses the car. He does well to save it, but I think the key to take from this is that Toby Davies is in the lead of the race, and by 1.7 seconds, he might have spoilt Massey's party, as I was mentioning earlier on.
Yeah, but yeah, it's still it is a bit of a shame, of course, that we now lose the battle of the lead a bit. Toby Davies is actually now walking away with it, which is of course great for him, but a bit less for everybody who's watching, who wants a great battle for the lead. And Scott Mitchell mom now is closing in on Massimiliano Riboli, and how long would he need to go for the overtake? Actually, I think Alex Lehoux is gaining a bit on the numbers 2 and number 3, and he's taking Steven Lexa with him, and Jack Mayer, because Jack Mayer I think made the mistake. He is out of DRS, so it will be very difficult for Jack Mayer to get closer or get into the podium positions now, because it's the pace difference is so big if you don't have DRS. So that's the thing. Of course, Mitchell can't overtake. He goes for a late dive. Scott Mitchell, mom, and he hits Massimiliano Riboli, and Riboli goes away. It drives away, still in P2. Steven Lexler overtook Alex Lehoux for P4, and Mikael Tsumala was quite close to Jack Mayer, but no overtake yet.
Pasanenko and Patterson are having a scrap for 10th position. Of course, the minor points paying positions, but they'll fight it regardless. Here's a replay of what happened between Mitchell and Riboli. Is down into turn 1. He's got the DRS, Scott Mitchell, though he's a fair ways back as he heads down into the braking zone, and he just misjudged his braking zone, actually. And good driving from the both of them to avoid a major collision there is Scott Mitchell, I'm afraid to say. Very easy to do at Monza, might I add, when you've got that DRS. There's someone who hasn't had a great save. It's Tommy Kuvian, and he's around and is out of the points. He's got a little bit of work to do in the next 6 laps or so. Here's the replay of that before I finish my points about Scott Mitchell. Here we go then, down into the chicane. It looks like it's one of the Valence cars has came together with him, and onto the curb. It just sends him round. Those sausage curbs can be quite deadly indeed, but back to the Scott Mitchell points. It's very easy once you've got the DRS. He's going to have another bite at the cherry here. When you've got the DRS, it's very easy to essentially get caught up in your own braking and not quite realise where that mark is. But here he goes, Scott Mitchell down into turn 1, giving it a go into second position. Can he get through? It looks like on this occasion it's going to be fairly simple for him. Up into second position, makes it to Kings Racing 1-2, and Massimiliano Riboli has to settle for third at the moment, but a fair gap to Steven Lexo down in fourth.
Well, we've got Mikael Tsumala now really close to Jack Mayer as well, but he can overtake.
No, Ernest Lappins again. Someone spun round Menno. I'm sorry to cut you off there, but it's Tom Ely, I believe, as we're going to have to see a replay of this, because this looked quite comical indeed. As I believe producers just sorting that out. Here we go then, Menno. Talk us through it.
Yeah, well, just hits the rear, and that's something you shouldn't do, and he did that. Actually, a great save from Tom Ely. I must say, if you could award points for it, it was it would have been the highest point of the evening. That was a great save.
He's won the ballet competition, we'll put it that way, as Alex Lehoux tried to get up into fourth position on Steven Lexer. Can't quite do it on this occasion. Ascari is not the easiest place to overtake. Ruben Machete in the YouTube chat says, I will talk to our reserve, and he's definitely having an eventful race here, his Ernest Lappins.
Well, we have the battle for P2 again, and also for P4. and for P6. So let's see, Scott Mitchell-Mom, will he be overtaken by Massimiliano Ribuli? Yeah, it looks like it. I think Alex Lehoux will overtake Stephen Lexo for P4 as well. And yes, Massimiliano Ribuli now in P2 again, passing Scott Mitchell-Mom. Alex Lehoux passes Stephen Lexo, and then we've got Sumala still not past Jack Mayer, so Jack Mayer is fighting really hard, and actually Loic Meunier is now getting closer and closer to the guys in P6 and P7.
Here goes Tommy Cuvian trying to make the best of a bad situation. As here goes Scott Mitchell. Actually, Scott Mitchell-Mom through into second position, new last name, and a second position to boot as well. There's an incident down into turn 1, and it's Caitlin Penny involved, and Cuvian, I think, and he can't catch a break today, Tommy Cuvian, and Caitlin Penny can't catch much of a break either. That is a similar incident that those cars have been involved in the same corner, and it's 3 wide once again. In fact, it's almost a repeat of what happened a few laps ago, and to the point that it's the car on the inside that's caused it as well.
Yeah, the thing is that Caitlin was in the middle of it, but yeah, she cannot turn in because Tommy is already there, and yeah, she's more or less forced. Or I crash into Tommy, or I crash into I'm not sure who the other one was, but yeah. So that's it for the one in the middle. Yeah, she got squeezed either way. So yeah, she spun the rival, but yeah, not sure, but she could have gone. Yeah. She could have done anything else, yeah. Brake earlier, but of course, yeah, you are a racing driver, so you don't want that. So Massimiliano Ribuli is going for P2 again. No, but
Stephen Lexo back into P4.
And Jack Mayer is going to P6 again.
This is the DRS train actually not working quite as I envisioned, Menno, is. I envisioned a sort of, I suppose with the incidents it's broken the field up a bit, but I envisioned a sort of 8 to 10 car train, and we haven't seemed to have had that in this race, which has meant that overtaking has been a little bit easier than they would have anticipated, as you can see with Riboli and the 2 Kings Racing cars. And another interesting statistic for you actually is that Kings Racing haven't taken 1-2s in any races apart from, I believe, if memory serves me correctly, the 2 races that Jack Nicholls hasn't raced in this year, they have taken 1-2s. So Jack Nicholls must, I imagine, be feeling looking over his shoulder once again at the people in their reserve seats.
Yeah, so I think that's a good policy of hiring decent drivers, even if one of the primaries can make it. So they do that really well. We actually look how much Stephen Lexo now is behind. Yeah, only 1.4 seconds. So Stephen Lexo wants to have a shot for the podium positions as well, but I think that will be very, very difficult.
Very difficult indeed. Here's Turo Marla trying to get ahead of Jack Mayer. Of course, every point Jack Mayer in this race is essentially a bonus, with Ruben Machado unfortunately not racing this evening, because we're having a few comments in the YouTube chat about Ernest Lappins, and I think we can all agree that not his greatest performance today. Oh, Mayer's almost lost it with the on the straight, and he's just about survived. Turo Marla is no doubt going to go through into turn 1. In fact, there is a little bit of doubt as he's not quite able to get through into turn 1, Turo Marla, but I'm not sure what that was about from Jack Mayer. It looks like he almost had like a force feedback twitch or something, and the car almost went round on him. As Turo Marla now through Curva Grande, staying in the slipstream. Can he go for a move into the chicane on the penultimate lap of the race, excuse me? Goes for the dummy move, and he goes for a triple dummy, goes into the chicane and has to stay behind once more. Can't find a way through for the life of him.
He only dummied himself there, so that's unfortunately for Mikael Tomala, but he still has got a bit of time to overtake Jack Mayer, and Jack Mayer needs to think on his championship. He needs to know where his rivals are. One rival isn't here, and the other one is driving way down in the field. So let's see, I say that P14 now. So, oh, well, I believe we had...
had someone go off.
Yeah, I believe that was... not a front runner. So yeah, Jack Mayer needs to think what does he want, and I think if it's P7, it's still quite a bit of points he scores in a good position for race 2, so I think he doesn't want to fight it that hard.
just want to focus on this battle for a moment. It is Massimiliano's last chance to get back into second position. Can he spoil the 1-2 of King's Racing that they so dearly want? And here we go on the DRS. Massimiliano Riboli, a final bite at the cherry that is Scott Mitchell, who sits very high up in the championship indeed. Massimiliano Riboli with his own sights on the team's championship goes through into turn 1. Alex Laho goes through on Stephen Lexo for 4th position. And given the state of the team's championship, Massimiliano Riboli and Alfa Sierra will particularly enjoy that. However, here we go. The special liveried car. Scott Mitchell trying to come back at him around the outside at Curva Grande. Can he just pull alongside down into the chicane? He's going to give it a go. Scott Mitchell, he's got to be given the room and he can't quite find the room, and it looks like for a moment he's going to go deep. Here goes Stephen Lexo trying to go around the outside of Alex Laho. He can't quite do that either, as we see Loic Munya further behind in the field. I just want to switch back a moment, if we can, Menno, to Riboli and Scott Mitchell as they're about to head through the final DRS zone. And Mitchell is going to go into the wall. It's going to give Laho a podium, surely now. Can he get past?
No, but it's not only Laho, it's also Lexo, and Lexo has got a real chance here on a podium, because he can maybe overtake Laho. He goes for it, Stephen Lexo, from P5 to P3. Not yet. It's still Alex Laho in P3, but there is still 1.5 straights to come. And yeah, 1 and 2 looks good, but now Stephen Lexo will charge Alex Laho for that final podium position, and Scott Mitchell is not out of this. Let's see. It will.
He's going to go for it, Menno.
The winner of this race is Toby Davis. Massimiliano Riboli will be P2, but who will be P3? And Stephen Lexo.
It's going to be a photo finish between Scott Mitchell and Alex Laho, and Stephen Lexo not getting involved. Is it going to be Laho? It looks like it might just be over the line. Alex Laho gets into 3rd position out of nowhere as they come to the line. Scott Mitchell gave it a right old go, but Alex Laho gets himself into 3rd position out of practically nowhere, and I think Stephen Lexo will be kicking himself there as he just ran wide on practically his own accord. Toby Davis, however, wins the race as the reserve driver. He's in the commentary box 4 weeks ago, and now he's at the top of the podium. Here's Sava Pasanenko having a much worse day than most of us, as he's ran out of fuel, it appears, and he's struggling to get across the line here. He's going to roll the car all the way down, but Toby Davis wins the race, and Massimiliano Riboli only in 2nd position. Though given the state of the team's championship, Alfa Sierra will happily take those points, particularly with Ernest Lappins in 11 and a plethora of penalties, I imagine, perhaps coming the way of Ernest Lappins.
Yeah, that's very true. So what a race won already, and I think the first few laps it was really clean, and then you saw some drivers were a bit over pushing their car, and then the mistakes were happening. So let's see if we can have all the results soon, and then we will see who actually scored in the point scoring positions. But Luke Mitchell and Jack Meir both scored in this race, so that's good to hear.
Here are the results, and if you'd like to take us through them, Matt. Toby Davis is there. We go. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's Toby Davis winning this race and gets the full 25 points, with Massimiliano Riboli in P2, Alex Laho after a great finish finishes in P3, Scott Mitchell in P4 with Stephen Lexo in P5, then P6 for championship leader Jack Meir, Mikael Tamala P7, Loic Meunier P8, then we've got Justin Ruin in P9, good P9, and Josh Down at P10. Then we go from 11 to 15. Ernst Lappins in P11, Craig Pedersen P12, Luke Mitchell P13, and then we've got Tom Ely P14, and Alistair Pollock takes the final points in P15. Then the non-point scorers are Tommy Koivunen in P16, Maxime Brulu in P17, Seva Panashenko in P18, Jorn Dix in P19, and Caitlin Penny in P20. Then we continue to the next drivers. Then we've got Dan Hajek in P21, Dan Hurt in P22, Dominic Slabon in P23, Luca Gray in P24, Lilian Hilary in P25, Soteris Kontogoudis after a crash in P27, Kai Sonneveld P26 for Sotiris, P27 for Gijs Zonneveld, and then P28 for Scott Morris. Mihailo Vincentevic also with a bit of damage finished in P29, with Kenneth Singleton in DNF in P30. And then the last two drivers DNF were Mathieu Sandak and Aurélien Grisson.
Well, at that opportunity, we're going to go to a break during the warm-up session, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes' time for race 2 here from Monza. Welcome back, everybody, to Monza. We're just at the end of the warm-up session here ahead of race 2 in Formula Sprint 2, the Italian Grand Prix. It's been a wonderful race so far, and I expect it to continue. It's going to be Luke Mitchell on pole position, as out of the hat came the number 13, and this is a real opportunity for Luke Mitchell if he can hope that Jack Mayer and the likes of Jack Mayer can't get back through the field, and he's got a good opportunity to take some points off of Jack and Reuven, of course, who isn't here. I'm Tom Dillon. Once again, joining me is Menno Klont, and Menno, heading into race 2, this should be just as exciting as the first one.
Yeah, this will be a very exciting race, the second one, and yeah, our one of our protagonists of the championship, Luke Mitchell, has got pole position. So maybe this is all he needed now. He needed to have that bit of luck, and yeah, let's see where he ends up. He will have a lot of fast guys behind him, so let's see if he can make it, or that somebody else will take the crown. And what can the faster guys in race 1? What can they do? Can they go through the field? How will Toby Davis go in dirty air, and what can Alex Lehoux, Massimiliano Riboli, and Scott Mitchell do? Yeah, we will all see it. We now got 29 drivers on the grid for race 2, because I believe Caitlin Penny just disconnected, and I believe 2 others were out for race 2. So let's see what will happen. Everybody is now more or less lining up. Well, at least the first few are. And I'm looking at the weather forecast, and I believe we will not have rain. But yeah, when I say there is no rain, we will of course see rain. That's always how it goes. But yeah, we shall see.
60 minutes out, the rain I'm hearing. 1:90 now I'm hearing in my ear. I've also learned Ernest Lappins isn't taking the formation lap. I'm not too sure what the reason for that could be. He's starting from the garage, it looks like. I wonder if the stewards have had something to say to him during the break.
I'm not sure, but what I don't understand is Ernest Lappins is already going to the end of the pit lane, and that's not a smart thing to do, because he now needs to stand there for the whole duration, like another 2-3 minutes before he can go. So I would have rather have waited like 2 minutes and then go to the end of the pits, but this is his decision. And yeah, let's go to the starting order. Let's just see. I will do the starting order then, Tom. It's Luke Mitchell getting a looking card, and now gets pole position. Luke Mitchell. Then is Craig Patterson with a P3 for was for Ernst Lappins in just down in P4. Justin Roux in P5, Loic Meunier in P6, Michael Tomala in P7, and Jack Mayer in P8. We've got Stephen Lexo P9, Scott Mitchell in P10. Then we've got Alex Lehoux in P11 and Massimiliano Riboli in P12. P13 is there for Toby Davis. Then we've got Tom Ely in P14, Alistair Pollock in P15, Tommy Coyne in P16. We got Maxime Boulou in P17, Seva Panasenko P18, Jorn Dix P19, and Dan Hayek in P20. Then from P21 we've got Dan Hutt, Dominic Slabon P22, P23 for Luca Gray, and Lilian Villiere in P24. Then we will have Soteris Contagoras P25 with Gijs Sonneveld P26, Scott Morris P27, and Mihailo Vincent-Cevic P28, and Aurélien Grisson is in P29, and the last starter this grid. Afraid we will not see Caitlin Penny in this race, so that's very unfortunate. Of course, you will hear her in 2 days' time for the FS1 broadcast. So everybody's lining up now. So who's your favorite, Tom?
I'm going to go with Luke Mitchell running away with this one as they get to the grid, and it looks like actually everyone's going to be bumped up one past Ernest Lappins, but we wait for the lights. Ernest has got a right old task ahead of him, whatever the reason for him starting in the pit lane is. As we go to 5 red lights in Italy, And it's lights out and away we go, and it's a good start for Luke Mitchell for Alpha Sierra Sim Racing, and it looks like he's roaring down into turn 1, and he's going to do it in the lead of the race. And oh my word, there is a huge crash at the back of the field. It's going to be even more drama down into turn 1. It is going to be Luke Mitchell who leads the way into turn 1. Everyone else is still tentative through there. Someone's into the gravel. It's one of the Scuderia cars, and someone's not got a rear wing. It's absolutely all kicking off at the start of this race, but Luke Mitchell leads.
Yeah, so it's Luke Mitchell, then it's Craig Pedersen, then it's just Downard, and Jack Mayer already up to P5. So he is saying, hey, I am there to take the big points. And let's see who has got a bad start. It is... Let's see. And I believe... Who is it? I'm actually now looking who had a bad start, and I believe Toby Davis is one of the guys who was involved in the first lap, first corner incident, well, even before the first corner, I would say. So quite a bit of drama. But it's now Luke Mitchell who's leading, and he already got a 1.2 second lead over Craig Patterson. And yeah, Josh Downard is on 2.2 seconds, so it's looking very good already for Luke Mitchell. He's running away, and I think that's what he should do at this part of the race. He needs to build up a lead.
It's a battle going on between Scott Mitchell and Stephen Lexo. Stephen Lexo down the inside into the Parabolica, runs Mitchell a little bit wide, actually, and that's Massimiliano Riboli being involved in this little battle as well. It looks like it might be 3 wide as they head down into turn 1. It is going to be 3 wide as they head down into turn 1. Mitchell on the outside, Lexo on the inside, and Massimiliano Riboli in the middle. There's further battles further ahead, but Lexo on the inside. I don't think they're all going to get through here. Lexo's going to back out. Mitchell goes all the way around the outside, jumps across the curb, runs into Massimiliano Riboli, who won't mind one bit as he's got through on Scott Mitchell. Now as they head through the Curva Grande, it looks like Stephen Lexo is going to have a go at Massimiliano Riboli as he gets past Scott Mitchell as well to the outside as they head into the chicane. Then can Stephen Lexo get past on Massimiliano Riboli? It looks like Scott Mitchell wants to go for a move as well. He gets through on Stephen Lexo out of practically nowhere using the slipstream of Massimiliano Riboli, and that battle is absolutely hard fought, and it's only for 7th position, 6th position even.
Yeah, that's true. So a lot is happening, but yeah, it looks very good for Luke Mitchell because he already has got a 2-second lead on Craig Pedersen, and actually Craig Pedersen is actually pushing now hard to get Jack Mayer out of DRS, and Jack Mayer already on P3. He is working really hard for his championship now, or his championship chances, let's say it like that. So yeah, great start, and already 5 positions won from Jack Mayer, but also Massimiliano Riboli already gained 6 positions. So who were the biggest loser of this starting phase? It's Mikel Tumala, lost 10 positions. Actually now it's 9, and I think the rest was quite good. Scott Morris gained 8 positions and now is in P19. So a lot of changes, and let's see what will happen in the upcoming few laps.
As here goes Justin Ruin trying to make a move for 4th position. Can he get Josh Downard into turn 1? Ruin goes to the inside and is going to get that move. Mitchell Baum holds on to 6th position. He can't quite be passed by Massimiliano Riboli just yet. He did actually get past Riboli down that straight, I believe. Which is going to give Mazzy a little bit of work to do. Here is Josh Downard once again trying to get back into 4th position that was taken from him just a few moments ago. He has to stay behind heading through the chicane. I think he, as Tommy Kuvian goes down the inside of, I think that's Pasenenko, and can't quite get the move. There's a little bit of an issue with Tyrus Cognitoris of the Spark Racing team, just onto the curb for a moment, and there's another one of the optimal cars going through. But I think, onto the grass, and I can't get my points in as they're all trying to crash here. But yes, I think they're all just waiting now for the DRS to open.
Yeah, they're waiting for that because then they actually can make their moves a little bit more easy. Now it's really pushing to stay in a DRS, in the DRS second, and then I think you will see a bit more easy overtakings. But this is already a very nice group from P6 to P10, so yeah, it's looking quite
Still
quite
side by side. Still side by side, Ribbley holding off Scott Mitchell. The DRS, I believe, will open up on this lap with 10 laps to go. Mitchell trying to just slot in between Ribbley and Stephen Lexo. He's got the DRS, and Ribbley might be a sitting duck here. He's going to go from 5th all the way down into 7th and possibly 8th when this is all said and done. Down into turn 1, Stephen Lexo on the inside, Scott Mitchell on the inside also, and it looks like one of the... I'm trying to see who that is. That's Laho who's gone into 7th position, and now Massimiliano Ribbley in 8th, and that is really quite disappointing from his perspective. Stephen Lexo managed to fall all the way down into 10th position.
Yes, so he actually lost quite a bit there as well, as did Massimiliano Ribbley. Oh, they're fighting so hard for every position, and yeah, Ribbley was a bit unlucky there. And we'll actually have a replay of the start now, so we will look into that.
Here is what happened then at the start of the race, and it was just Toby Davies not getting off the line, and that perhaps could be a wheel issue or something, but he just didn't quite get the car started, and I'm not going to speculate too much what happened there. Looks like it could perhaps be a wheel issue, but unfortunately just one of those things, and it could happen in real racing as well, so
yeah,
what anyone can do.
We have saw it, I think, in real racing, and the problem is that you're focused so much on a certain thing, and if you change your line quite early when you're behind, you cannot always see what's directly in front of you if other cars are blocking your view. So yeah, the first few cars can maybe pass then, but then it's always one that hits the stationary car.
Here goes Laho down the inside on Mitchell Mom. Can he get the move done into turn 1? It looks like he can. Loic Munya, Stephen Lexo are having a battle. Munya on the outside. Oh, Lexo spun around. And I'm afraid to say, for something that's becoming a rather weekly experience here for Stephen Lexo, he's been spun around, and it's not on his own accord either. Scott Mitchell now around the outside, trying to get into 6th position, trying to fight back against Alex Laho. They make contact heading through the chicane. It looks like Mitchell can't quite get that move sorted.
Yeah, and I hope we will have a replay from that incident as well, because then we can well, just judge how it went there. But in the meanwhile, yeah, it's Luke Mitchell who is checking out more or less a 4-second lead on Craig Patterson, who's looking really good in P2 at the moment.
Here goes Mitchell into Ascari, gets the move with the help of the DRS on lap 5 of this race, as we see a battle between championship leader Jack Mayer for 2nd position. This will frustrate Luke Mitchell as he had an opportunity to get some points on Jack, and it looks like Jack is going to try and get Patterson down into turn 1 with the DRS presumably.
Yeah. And I think Craig Patterson will be smart with this. He just entered the championship. He knows Jack Mayer quite well. He's I think a decent mate, and yeah, but they will fight hard. But I think Craig knows as well that Craig was in FS1 and now in FS2. That yeah, if he can get a podium, it would of course already be very good for Craig. But of course he wants more, so I think he will chase down Jack Mayer. But yeah, you see it was honest overtake from Jack Mayer, not on the really aggressive type of overtake Jack needed to do there on Craig. Well, we've got the Stephen Lexo replay now coming in. There we have got him, Stephen Lexo. Then we've got Loic Meunier next to him, and it's so close. And let's see what happens there. Yeah, goes
to the curb.
Yeah. So the car gets loose over the curb, and yeah, then he is actually getting launched into the car of Meunier. So yeah, it was a risky move, and yeah, it was unbelievable that it's happened to Stephen once again, because he's got a lot of bad luck. It's not always his fault.
Yes.
Well, we know.
This season it has rarely been his fault, actually.
Yeah.
Mitchell through into 5th.
Yeah, Mitchell Mall now in P5, so he will be up for quite a bit of points. Well, I see somebody drop down. It's Seva Panashenko lost now P12 to Stephen Lexo, so Stephen is still in for a few points. So where is, let me see, where is, and
Josh
Slapkins?
Downard is wide and Downard's into 7th position as it looks like Laho is through into 6th. Laho quietly having a very good race indeed, a good round I should say. Ribberley is trying to get involved as well. He switches to the outside, tries to make it 3 wide, switches to the inside now, and he can't quite find a way through, so it's going to be Laho on the inside now to the outside, trying to get the better power down, get the better exit. He gets the better exit, and Josh Downard goes into 7th position. Alex Laho, as I said, having a quietly incredible round.
Yeah, that's indeed he's got a very interesting round, but there are fights everywhere, so I think we can see that. Just Downard now. Yeah, he's taking loads of risks to stay ahead. Well, we've got a driver off, and I think that was Seva Panasenko who went off there. Yes, and Seva went off, but he rejoins in P15. So the top 15. Oh, actually now see the replay. So what happens here? It's Tumala who's actually chasing. Oh, he ends him, but it looked a bit strange. It looks like
he's had to brake to get away from the red van car, and it's caught Tumala off. It looks like that.
Yeah. That was actually a hit which Tumala wouldn't have expected. Oh, and he nearly took Tumala out again.
Yes, it looked like he just had to brake to, I think, avoid something from the red vent car, and then it essentially meant that he had Tuomala on his outside, and Tuomala couldn't quite avoid it. So probably a textbook racing incident there, as here is Loic Mounier trying to get past Josh Downard. And Downard already down into 7th position, being passed by Massimiliano Ribberley whilst we were in the replay as well. And Loic Mounier trying to add his name to the list of people having passed Josh Downard in this race. Around the outside, they look pretty evenly matched on top speed, actually, even despite the DRS from Loic Mounier. But around the outside, eventually, he's going to muscle his way through. And whilst Downard will try and fight this back as they head up to the Curva Grande, here we are on board with the TOP Esports driver. Around the outside, it looks like the Valence driver of Loic Mounier has just got the better downforce through the Curva Grande, and Josh Downard now down the inside has to back out of it, because I think that Valence car is actually running a higher downforce package than his TOP rival there, which is why through these corners he's pulling away a little bit. Yeah,
but still I think it can still be a very good result for Josh Downard. He's always pretty consistent in his scores, and it seems to be a top 10 is definitely on the cards for Josh Downard. So let's see if we can actually do so. But on front it is Luke Mitchell leading, and he really checked out. Jack Mayer is actually doing a good job now in P2, and actually he's taking Craig Patterson with him. I think Jack has got more speed in his car than Craig has, but Craig is just more or less relaxing in the DRS, and maybe with a few laps to go he will go for a challenge maybe in P2. We shall see. Scott Mitchell-Malm is he getting closer? Scott Mitchell-Malm is actually getting a little bit closer. He was half a second faster on this lap, so we shall see if he can actually get close to the numbers 2 and numbers 3. Well, I see
down the inside once more, and oh dear, they're coming together, banging wheels, and Downer just about staying behind Loic Mounier at this opportunity. He's got the shorter line through the Curva Grande. Can it help him with a little bit of momentum? Should gain him a few thousandth at least, and that might just be what he needs to get ahead of the Valence driver here, as he's going to go around the outside into the chicane, and Valence, Loic Mounier I should say, as I keep saying Valente, as that's the driver he is trying to get through on, as that's the driver he's reserving for, I should say. It's going to be Loic Mounier who stays ahead on Josh Downard at the moment. Downard just can't quite find a way past.
No, he can just not finish that move off at the moment, but he will have a few other chances there, and the car still seems to be pretty quick, so maybe he still can do it. actually, I'm looking into the difference between Scott Mitchell-Mom and Jack Mayer and Craig Patterson. I think Scott Mitchell-Mom is getting closer and closer. So let's see if he actually can challenge for that podium.
Here's Justin Ruin trying to get up into 4th position. As we see further ahead, it looks like Patterson trying to make the move on Scott Mitchell for 3rd position. He's trying to go on through, and at the moment it just looks like he's having to stay behind as we go to 4 laps to go here. Josh Downard now still trying to get through on Loic Mounier. Can't go through on Loic Mounier once again. He's really having a tough time getting past, isn't he?
Yeah, it's very difficult to make the deal the position actually. So yeah, he's trying really hard, but for now, yeah, it's not really working. Well, Scott Mitchell-Mom is getting closer and closer to Craig Patterson, who is in P3, and yeah, if you can get close to Craig, will Scott Mitchell-Mom be in the position to overtake Jack Mayer as well? So it will be very interesting. But we only got a few laps to go, so we'll be very close now. And actually, yeah, Justin Ruin and Alex Lehoux are also in the hunt for the podium. So it's not done. And yeah, we saw at the other race that yeah, if you are really good at last lap, if you can then nail the perfect overtake and stand your ground, then yeah, you can just steal a podium away while you're not actually in a podium scoring position for most of the race. So we shall see. Look at that train of cars. It's Jack Mayer now in P2 with a 41.2, 41.4 for Craig Patterson, and 40.8 for Scott Mitchell-Mom. So he is really quick. And actually, I didn't see the lap time of Justin Ruin and Alex Lehoux, but actually Alex Lehoux is attacking for P5. He breaks later than Justin Ruin, and he's going into P5. P5 for Alex Lehoux. He will line up another victim, but this victim will be a little bit faster, I think, than Justin.
And he's going to try his best to get past Craig Patterson as well, because Craig Patterson, he'll feel, is rather easy pickings in this race, but Craig Patterson not being as easy as Scott Mitchell would have liked. This is a DRS train more that we probably would have been more expecting here. That's
very true. So I think that's the plan. As long as Craig Patterson can stay in the DRS of Jack Mayer, then it will be very difficult for others to overtake. Would Craig lose DRS, then yeah, he's a sitting duck. But for now, I think it looks pretty good for Craig Patterson. Can he do it, or will Scott Mitchell-Mom? Will do it. Well, Craig Patterson had a really bad corner there, and now Scott Mitchell-Mom is getting closer.
There we go then. This is going to be so close, as Scott Mitchell looks like he wants that podium down into Parabolica even. He's going to try and go for this. He backs out of it. Actually, I think he knows he needs the DRS here, particularly if he wants to set his sights on Jack Mayer. Here we go. Scott Mitchell down the straight. Scott Mitchell-Mom, can he get the DRS on Craig Patterson? And more crucially, can he get the straight line speed as well? As Craig Patterson will have the DRS of the car ahead of him. Here we go. Scott Mitchell to the outside. Patterson is defending as best as he can. He's got the DRS and his good friend Jack Mayer ahead of him. Here's Alex Lehoux trying to get him into a podium himself. Scott Mitchell-Mom is through. Alex Lehoux can't quite find the speed on the outside, so it's Mitchell who goes into 3rd position. Mayer stays in 2nd, but he's going to have to look over his shoulder. It's not too far of a gap behind to Scott Mitchell-Mom, and Craig Patterson, I think, will be eyeing up this final lap, which will be next time by, and he'll be eyeing up that final lap, trying to go for the podium that he'll feel. Given the reverse grid, it's given him this chance at a podium. He'll be feeling like that really is his opportunity.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, we've got a very good battle for P14 as well, but let's focus on this battle. I think Scott Mitchell-Mom has got a very good chance on P2 now, but don't count out Craig Patterson and don't count out Alex Lehoux. I think the one with the biggest problems is now Jack Mayer, because he will not have DRS and he will be a sitting duck at the final lap. So let's see what will happen. Well, Alex Lehoux did try there with Craig Pedersen, but needed to back out. It's so close, it's so close. Scott Mitchell has got a very good exit. His car seems to be in extremely good condition, and I am not sure what Jack Mayer can do against this. He will, of course, try his best, and Craig Pedersen is also still in it. It all goes about this.
Oh no, he's wide! Scott Mitchell's wide, Menno, and this is going to really cost him as we head into the final lap, and he's going to get the DRS regardless. Can he get past Jack Mayer? Look at the speed and look at the weaving from Jack Mayer as he tries to hold on to his second position. He knows that for the championship situation, this could be valuable points as they head towards the end of the season. He stays ahead of Mitchell and Marm at the moment. Craig Patterson can't quite get into the podium spots, but Scott Mitchell is going to really try and do this. Into Curva Grande they go for the last time this evening. Scott Mitchell Marm in third position, trying to get his second place of the evening around the outside. He goes of Jack Mayer. This is really his opportunity to try and strike now around the outside. Scott Mitchell gets the move on the final lap on Jack Mayer, the championship leader. He goes, oh no, Mayer is back at him, and now around the outside of the Lesmo goes Mayer. Mitchell is through. There's not really room to run too wide through there. It's going to be the DRS zone, I think. Menno is. Let's just wait to see what happens through there. Jack Mayer.
Good exit for Jack Mayer, and he will have DRS now, but I think Scott Mitchell Marm will defend the inside. No, he will actually defend the outside. This is stupid, I think, and it gives Jack Mayer a chance to overtake. Jack Mayer back in P2, and it's Scott Mitchell Marm in P3. And actually, who is challenging Craig Pedersen? And now Scott Mitchell Marm had a difficult corner there, so Jack Mayer looks good, but now it's Craig Pedersen with a bit of a run on Scott Mitchell Marm, like in race 1. The winner of this race will be Luke Mitchell, and it's really good he wins, but this is, it's all about the battle, and it looks like Jack Mayer makes it, but who will be finishing P3? Is it Scott Mitchell Marm or is it Craig Pedersen? I think it will be Scott Mitchell Marm. It's Luke Mitchell winning, Jack Mayer in P2, and Scott Mitchell Marm finishes in third position with Craig Pedersen a very good fourth, Alex Lehoux a very respectable fifth, and Justin Ruin a very good P6. Loic Meunier in P7, Massimiliano Riboli in P8, Josh Down in P9, and Stephen Axel comes home in P10 with Tom Ely in P11. So both Deltec score points. Tommy Koivunen and Mikael Tumala, those are teammates as well, finish in P12, P13. Jordan Dix for the GPVWC Academy team finishes in P14, and P15 is there for Seva Panasenko. The guy from Israel gets the final point for ST Racing. So that's are the results we've got now. And what a race too. And Tom, I would say because of the speed, but also because of the time, those races were really quick today. Really quick races, and I enjoyed it a lot. It was great to see.
A close finish towards the end as well. Here are the results. Luke Mitchell is the winner of this race. We didn't really speak much about him as he was 7 seconds down the road, and it was so close behind him, but a very good race for the man who still has his hat in the ring for the championship, albeit a little bit further back than he would have liked at this stage in the season. Jack Mayer finishes off a very good round as he is going to go and accelerate further into the lead of the championship in Ruven Mercedes' absence. And then Scott Mitchell Marm in third position for King's Racing rounds out a very good evening for them as well. Craig Patterson finishes in fourth position. Then it's Alex Lehoux in fifth, with Justin Ruin in sixth position. Loic Meunier finishes in seventh, and Massimiliano Riboli not really able to make up as much ground as he would have liked in race 2, finishing in eighth position. Josh Downard finishes in ninth in the other TOP esports car. Then it's Stephen Lexo for Red Ven Racing, able to get P10 after a rather disappointing race for him. Yet again, a little bit of bad luck on his end, unfortunately. Tom Ely in 11th position for Deltec, then Tommy Kuvian in 12th. Mikael Tuamala finishes in 13th, with John Dix for GPVWC Academy in 14th position. Seva Pasinenko finishes in 15th and rounds out the points. Maxime Bilou then in 16th, with Dominic Slybon in the other GPVWC Academy car in 17th. Then it's Ernest Lappins having a quiet race from the pit lane, which is something you can't say about his first race. He starts from the pit lane, finishes 18th Scott Morris in 19th, and then Michailo Viventuvic in 20th. And it's Dan Hutt in 21st, and then actually the last of the finish. Lots of DNFs after a very bad crash at the start of this race, with Tyrus Cognitoris, the first of them, Lillian Hollerett, Dan Hayek, Luca Gray, Gus Sonneveld, Alistair Pollock, Orion Grisson, Toby Davis, the winner of race 1, also crashing out of the race. And we'll quickly go to the calendar, as that was all that took part in race 1. Next up is Singapore in 2 weeks' time. Then it's Japan, Mexico, and finally Brazil as we round out the season. That was an incredible race, Menno, and we're going to get some interviews now.
Yes, always good to have some interviews as well. Great races. And let's ask actually the winner of race 1 what he thought of this race weekend, which is actually on a Thursday. But yeah, let's see. Toby, are you around?
Yeah, hello.
Hello, Toby. So, we saw your race 1, and yeah, we also saw what happened in race 2. Can you take us through race 1 and also what happened at race 2?
I'll start with race 2 because it was more recent. I've done obviously lots and lots of practice starts in these cars. I wanted to be as prepared as possible for kind of like, it's been 8 years since I raced in GPV and single seaters, so I wanted to be as prepared as possible. Did loads of practice starts, and then race 2 I got anti-stall, so very disappointed about that, and I'm really sorry to everyone who hit me. I thought I'd been prepared enough, so I'm really sorry about that. Race 1, it went about as well as I could hope, I guess. I mean, I had thought I had okay pace, but I didn't know how quick actually everyone would be on race day. But went well. I did some moves. Didn't want to sort of be too aggressive, so I sort of did moves that were obvious, and it sort of ended up working for me. So I'm actually really pleased with that. And a big thank you to Kings for letting me race for them, and for Doug Hilliard for editing the livery for this round. So that's really appreciate that. So I've had a lot of fun tonight, and I might come back for a few more rounds or something if anyone wants.
That was. That was actually what I wanted to ask. If we would have seen you, in future rounds. You get a lot of points then, of course, for winning race 1. That's 25 points, so that makes you jump up the order quite rapidly. Well, we've got 4 rounds after this. We've got, what is it? Singapore, Mexico, Brazil, and
Japan.
Japan. If you would race one of those, which one would you love to do? What would be your favorite for the 4?
I don't mind. I mean, Japan's a very good track. I know Brazil quite well. I haven't driven any of the F1 games, I don't think, or if I have, very little of it. So I don't know Mexico, and I don't know Singapore. They were kind of before my time in GPVWC, I think. So, but certainly I know Suzuka, and I know obviously I know Brazil. So those 2 would be cool. But I really don't mind. I'm having a lot of fun. So just glad I could compete, keep it on the island. And again, I'm really sorry about race 2. That's absolutely wasn't something I wanted to happen tonight. I was trying to really keep it clean, and I think a few guys hit me, so I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah, well, at least we now know what what happened there. That was anti-stall, so that's good to know. So thanks Toby for being here, and hopefully we'll hear from you quite soon.
Thank you very much, Menno. Thanks, guys.
And we'll drag in Stephen Lexo, thanking Toby for the time, and quickly give Stephen a chat before we round out the stream. And Stephen, I'm afraid to say it's been another one of those days for yourself. Just what can you do to catch a break in this series?
I mean, it felt good in practice, it felt good in warm-up, but in quali I just wasn't able to get the lap together, so that's the main part, I think. So race 1 was okay. had some really nice battles with Jack Mayer and with Alex Lehu for once. So GG to Alex. That was quite a bit of fun. And yeah, race 2, I seemed to be at the wrong place at the wrong time throughout most of the battles, so I always had to lift at the exit of corners and the guys behind got a slingshot. And then fighting, I think, a Valika, he was quite ambitious in a few of the corners, so dived down the outside in turn 1 and squeezed me onto the anti-cut, and there was no way. I was just losing contact to the ground and got spun around and got some damage to the rear. And after that, yeah, it's been a recovery drive, but yeah. Something very unlucky as well for Ernest. He had a screen freeze before he was able to go into the grid, so he wasn't able to use his third place in the sprint race. And as one guy spun before the pit exit, he couldn't go out as he started from the pit lane. So yeah, overall, quite unlucky.
I'm sorry to hear that, and I hope your fortunes pick themselves up, Stephen.
Yeah, business as usual. I get used to it, so I just hope for next year.
Yes, well,
Yeah.
thank you for joining us.
Yeah, and we're actually now, thanks, Stephen. We actually got a few others that want to get interviewed. Let's get our race 2 winner in. So that's Luke Mitchell. So let's drag him in. Luke Mitchell. Hello, Luke. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So, well, yeah, interesting round for you. I would say a bit of a difficult race one, but then you had to look on your side with the reverse grid, and well, looked quite easy and managed race 2. How happy are you with these results? Because yeah, one of your rivals actually did an excellent job today as well. So talk us through it and talk. Can you say what your current feelings are for the championship?
Yeah, I think obviously with the grid drop, I knew it was going to be a difficult race 1. But I got a good start, and I think going on to lap 2, I think I'd got up to sort of 16th, and I was thinking I could easily get top 10 here, and then just got involved in incidents with 2 different people, so that was quite difficult. But yeah, we managed to get back into the points, and luckily enough, we got the reverse grid, which race 2 was quite simple. Pushed quite hard the first 2 laps just to create the gap, and then yeah, it was just about managing it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you're reasonably well still in the championship. What are your hopes for this championship? Is there any track coming where you would say that's my track that I can maybe do a very good job?
The final few races aren't really tracks that I enjoy. Singapore, I do actually like, but other than that, they're not suited to my strengths. So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Jack had a really good round, and he's stretched the gap again. So we're going to need some luck, I think, to try and overturn him in the championship.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course you're still in it, so that's I think very important. So, yeah, thanks, Luke, for being here. I'm not sure if Tom still has a question.
Just finally, Luke, how important was getting away in race 2, and how is it like essentially having no one around?
A little bit boring. It's obviously nice to win, and if you gave that to me at the start, I would have taken it. But yeah, you kind of want it a little bit closer, just for the enjoyment factor. But towards the end, the last 4 or 5 laps, I was just watching the delta and watching sort of Scott come back through and watching the gaps between him, Pazson, and Jack, and seeing what was going on.
And well, we'll just thank you very much for joining us, Luke Mitchell, and hopefully we speak to you after equally as much success next time out.
Thanks, guys.
That was Luke Mitchell, the winner of the race, and I believe, Menno, are we wrapping this up, or are we going for one more?
Well, no, I think this is it for today. So yeah, we had 2 amazing races at the Temple of Speed. As always, drama, bit of crashing, but also quite a bit of good moves we saw. So yeah, I'm pretty proud for what we saw. We had full house in race 1, which was very good to see. So yeah, 11 done. what should I say, 12 done. And now 4 to go. So yeah, we're now really getting close, and it's still a 3-horse race. So it will be interesting to see what happens in 2 weeks' time.
Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us this evening. It's been FS2 coming back with a bang after the summer break. And, well, I'm sure the rest of the racing this week will be just as exciting. But apart from that, I've been Tom Dillon. He's been Menno Klont. We'd like to thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you all later. Good night.